friends with my father, because they from the Bay Area from the 60s and 70s. They were friends. And then when they both, were older in their, twilight years, they were living in Arizona. So my dad used to go visit him up in Cave Creek.
Used to go up there.
And, I would drive my dad up there, with him. And him and, Sonny would walk off and have, discussions or whatever they had to talk about. And Sonny's right-hand man was this guy named Lee Cole, who was the chapter president for the Maricopa County chapter of the Hells Angels, which is the biggest in the country, the Maricopa County Hells Angels, by number.
Over here. I know there's a chapter.
This was like in whenever this was, or 15 or so.
Because the chapter we dealt with was in Mesa.
Yeah, well, the Maricopa County chapter includes all the... Right, and Lee became the president. So years after my dad died and Sonny died, I get this call from this guy Lee, who, same thing like you were talking about in the cigar shop. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who I am. We're waiting. My dad, Sonny are out talking, and we're hanging out, smoking cigars, talking, right? And he was a good guy, and we're about the same age. And so I get this call from him out of the blue, and he says, "Hey, you went to college," because we got to know each other, because you went to college, you got a master's degree. Oh, yeah. I go, yeah, I got an MBA. He goes, "I want you to come work for me." At that time, I was working for DHL, and, I had 2 young kids, I was married, and, I was trying to do this, the Good Guys book, and, trying to make things happen. And, I get this opportunity to go work for the Hells Angels. I thought it was a great opportunity. My wife at the time, I thought she was kidding, said, "If you do that, I'll divorce you." And she ended up divorcing me, but that's a whole other story. From when, they would have these meetings up in Cave Creek, Lee and I became friends enough to where he called me, and he said, "Hey, in Switzerland, they have this new energy drink." And this is when, 2015, energy drinks were around, but they weren't just, ubiquitous like they are now everywhere. And, they were new. And they had this energy drink called 81. If your guys really got to see a picture of that thing, it's an 81. It was an 81. You know what that is, right? The 8th letter and the first letter of the alphabet, HA, Hells Angels. And it was called 81 Sports Drink. And he wanted me to help. They got the North American distribution rights. So I said, hell yeah. So I kept my day job, and then at night, there it is. That's nice. He's good. So we were going to try to market that, right? See, it's got the little Switzerland, born in Switzerland thing. So we were going to market that, and it was going good. I was working during the day and at night, but, working at night for the Hells Angels, they have a clubhouse and it gets fun. And I had a Kawasaki 650, and you're not supposed to ride a Kawasaki 650 into the Hells Angels house, but they would invite me over because, I would work a regular day, go home, feed the kids dinner. And then I would go work for them at night from like 8 o'clock till 1 a.m. Right. And then, but at 1 a.m., I would need to go back to go to sleep to go to work, but they would, go to the clubhouse. So come on for one. So I'd pull up in my Kawasaki. It was just, I have a picture of it somewhere. Anyway, so I thought this was it. I was, we were on a roll. And then just one morning at night, because I was working in the evenings, I come and there's locks on the doors. Every door is locked. And I thought, oh, they must have had a tax issue or something. So nothing. Go back the next day, and I had my laptop and stuff in there. I had an office in there and nothing. Finally, I get a hold of the Lee's girlfriend or fiance at the time, and she says, yeah, they're Lee's in prison and his brother's in the hospital in the ICU. What the hell happened? The brothers got in a fight. The brothers own this business. They got in a fight. The one brother got in his truck and ran the other brother over. And then they both had priors, right? So he went in, and the business went out, and it was
a snowball from there.
It dissipated from there, and we lost.
That could have been a big thing.
I thought it was on my way. I really did. I have some good pictures of me with my KLR 650 with all the Hells Angels guys and their bikes. And we had cans. We had, and we were going to, our marketing strategy was going to be like tattoo shows and expos and just kind of get a grassroots, swell and try to get it. And then we were on the cusp. It was in discussions with Circle K at the time when it all went. So, woulda, shoulda, coulda. And that's from, the Hells Angels working with the Bonanno families back in the 60s in the Bay Area, and how it, it became part of my story. But
that's how I learned about all what the tattoos mean. Like,
the
prospect, the hammers, the enforcer, all this stuff. I learned that all from him. He was telling me the difference, because a lot of people are opposed to be Hells Angels.
Right.
And he goes, Frank, if they don't have this, and this,
right.
They're not, whatever. But man, what an interesting guy. And he was very, he was very generous. Like, we went by his house or you went out to eat with him or whatever. Very hospitable.
Yeah, I only met him in passing, but, my dad had high regard for him. So that's, and my dad was a, pretty tough critic of people who were false. Or
so fake. when I got to open in Tucson, we're in Tucson, and here they come, Hell's Angels again, right? And they came in there, and the GM calls me. Oh, the Hell's Angels. Don't worry about it. Just get the guy's name. So he told me it's so-and-so. Just tell him who's the head of the chapter over there. Give me a name. He got me a name. I called Sonny up. Before, the guy come back in, apologized, Said, hey, we're all good. And he said, listen, Frank don't mind you coming in here. We want you to come in here, but come in here without your colors. Come in here with your families. Because a lot of these guys, they work regular jobs. They got families. They're regular people. Just come in here without your colors.
There was a famous biker bar on Speedway in Tucson called Bandits. And there's a big sign out front, no club colors.
I remember seeing that place.
Yeah, there's always a bunch of bikes there. I wonder if it's still there. I can't remember.
Then there was another joint out there called the Cactus Moon in Tucson.
Oh, yeah, Cactus Moon. That's a famous place. Oh, yeah.
So we talked about, remember how people throw your name around and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
When I was in Tucson, right? How they threw the Bonanno name around. And you don't know who's telling the truth or what. So last week, a friend of mine said, Frank, I got to go to this store. He got divorced from his wife, and he got the ring back. He said, could you come with me? I said, I can't be involved in any transactions, So he goes, no, I just want you to come with me. So I want to see what they'll give me for it. So we walk into this pawn shop. Well, not a pawn shop, like a high-end
jewelry store.
Or whatever, right? We walk in there. Some guy, the front guy is looking at it. Oh, let me call my partner. So here comes this guy, and he's yapping away, trying to impress us about his business, how many years he's been around, how much jewelry he sold, and all this other nonsense. I'm just sitting there quiet. So he looks to me and he goes, you must be Italian. I go, yeah.
Not Irish.
What do
I got your
people, they stereotype you right away.
Oh, absolutely.
And especially you open your mouth up, it's like your accent, right away it's a dead giveaway, right? So this guy's trying to impress me. He goes like this to me. He said, I got something for you to look at. He said, he pulls out this gold coin. He shows me this coin, right? And he goes, Joe Bonanno gave this to me. I said, so I'm still not saying anything. I'm just nodding my head. He goes, you know what that is? I go, yeah, I know what that is. I said, so he gave this to you? He goes, oh, yeah. I said, so you know him? He goes, oh, yeah, I knew the whole family, he said. My kids went to school with his kids. They went to college together. They were in the same fraternity. And then he claims that his son went to college, fraternity's college, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't make it through college. But they went to the same fraternity. They went to school together. The family's like this.
Right.
I said, really? I said, who do they go to school with? Which Bonanno? Because right away you came to mind. I'm saying, well, maybe they went to school with you. Oh, Jim Bonanno, James Bonanno. So he said, wait, my son's here. His son comes in. I said, who'd you go to school? I think his name was Jimmy, James. I just about had enough, right? I called you up. I didn't want to bother you because I knew you were in San Francisco, right? I said, I got to call him, right? I sent you the picture.
Yep.
I called you up. I said, hey, you have a Jim or James? I told you the names they were dropping. You go, no. What are you talking about? We don't have anybody in the family that's named Jim Bonanno, James Bonanno, right? Yeah. So he hears you talking, right? His face drops, turns white as a ghost. Right? So I said, oh, okay, so you don't know. Okay, so it's another person. So anyway, after I hung up with you, I said, so another guy is full of shit. I looked at him. Yep. I says, Bonanno's are good friends of mine, very, very dear friends of mine. I said, leave their name out of your mouth. I said, if you don't know who you're talking about, I said, you're not getting afraid. Oh, I apologize. And now he started backstepping,
But there are a lot of Bonannos, surprisingly a lot of Bonannos in the valley here.
But not Jim and James.
Right. They're not related to, the small Bonanno with the small F.
So there are Bonannos, but not related.
Right.
Okay. But he tried to pose it off that, your grandfather's coin.
Right.
He tried to make me think it was the Bonannos from Tucson.
Right. But if it says Bonanno Man of Honor, and they did have those at the, at his 90th, I think it was 90th or 95th. So there's some validity, to that story.
Yeah, you could tell the guy was, he didn't know you or your family.
It makes it better to say that Joe Bonanno gave it to you, right? If you got a coin that says Bonanno on it, that Joe Bonanno gave it to you,
Well, it
adds value.
Well, you know something? I wouldn't have pulled him up on it if he would just left it like that.
Right.
Because I would have been like, okay, maybe he did give it to him. Yeah. I don't know everything, But when he started talking about...
There it is.
There it is. Yeah. So what does it say? Guido's and... What does it say?
That's his 95th, the 2000. Yeah, Guido's I can't read it, but... That's what we had. That was his...
Can't blow it up, right? This just happened
95th.
Last week.
Yeah, this is his 95th birthday. It was in 2000.
That was...
My grandfather's.
So 95th. That was from the birthday party.
That is the right date, yeah.
Well, maybe somebody went to the party and then...
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever the case is.
I'd like to go back there and get it myself just to have it.
Right, so now if he would have left it at that, I would have sent you the coin. You would have said, 95th birthday. Okay. But then when he went off and said, my son went to fraternity with them, I said, with who? And he said, the grandsons, the sons. So right away I said, okay, let me call Tori up and see.
There's the front of it. Yeah. Joseph Bonanno Sr., man of honor. That was the family coat of arms. I might go get that.
Well, I was going to ask you if you want to go and get it.
Yeah.
I know.
Be nice to have,
Go back and get it, He didn't give me a price or anything, but it was funny though.
My son probably sold that. So after my grandfather passed away, my son, the eBay was new, right? And he was a little kid, 8, 9 years old, but he was a whiz. And he took all my grandfather's old cognac glasses, old stuff, anything that he could put. He took a picture, put it on eBay, and he made some good money. And then after a while, eBay shut him down after about a year on some morality clause or whatever, some BS. The guy was a 10-year-old kid, but he...
They shut him down.
They shut him down. But for a while there, him and my mom had a little cottage industry going. They had my grandfather's old checks, and my grandfather saved every piece of paper. Checks from the 50s that had my grandfather's signature. Right. They were selling those on eBay at one point.
I think we ordered lunch. Buddy, lunch is here. Yeah. Ordered some beets, some pizza. Nice foldable slices from, they call themselves Ray's. Yeah. Not the original Ray. The original Ray's on Prince Street. You ever been there?
Mm-mm.
In Manhattan?
No.
That was a very good friend of mine, Raffie Cuomo.
Still there?
Still there. He doesn't own it anymore. He passed away. Okay. Sad story, the family sold the business. That guy, whoever bought the business, he rolled them out all across the country.
Oh, really?
And he's got like 20 of them.
Huh.
So they were famous for their squares, the Sicilian pie. Yep. Grew up on them. That guy was smart enough.
There it is.
That was my second home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I went to school on the corner of St. Patrick's Old Cathedral. And as I got older, always in the pizzeria. Yeah. And they had a restaurant right next door. So here was the pizzeria, then they had a restaurant next door, and he owned the building.
Oh, nice. You're making me hungry.
Raffie, there was always a fight between him and the Rays in New York.
Oh, yeah.
So he was the original Ray. I don't know why he never pursued it, to take the name.
That's like Patsy's, and Patsy's has the same thing.
Right.
They have a battle.
I don't know why he never pursued it, whether he wanted to do it legally, illegally. Somebody should have grabbed whoever was going on with it. He should have been getting a cuff from all the Rays.
Right, yeah.
This guy rolled these places out, and there's one in Tempe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Called Prince Street Pizza. So it's not Ray's, they're Prince Street Pizza, and they're famous for the squares. So
Where
I go, it's on right on Mill Avenue.
It's on Mill?
Yeah.
All right there, okay.
You know where it used to be next to the Jimmy John's?
Okay.
I think it was a Jimmy John's.
It was the Jimmy John's.
Took it.
Okay, I know where that is.
Right across from the pool hall?
Right.
The Q, what do they call it? Q Club or something?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right across the street from that.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
So
I'll go check it out.
Yeah, so they made a big deal about the grand opening. So I was excited. I said, let me go in there. So it's surreal because you walk in and the story is about Prince Street, how this pizza evolved from Prince Street. And I'm in there and, they par-baked everything. That's how friggin' busy the place was. So it was like all baked. They would throw some sauce and cheese on it, put it in the oven, and that's it.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Oh, really? Bummer.
Yeah.
It sucked.
It looks good and everything else, but they're so, it's like maybe I caught a bad day. Maybe I caught it too busy of a day, but nothing like I remember it.
Yeah, oh, well, yeah.
And it's
can't live up to your memory. Yeah.
And it's surreal, exactly. And it's surreal, too, because you think back, I go like this. I'm watching all these kids moving around, the place is humming, right? I'm going, Raffie's going to be rolling over in his grave. You know?
You ever been to Joe's in Old Town Scottsdale? Joe's New York Pizza?
Yeah.
That's my favorite in the Valley as far as I'm
good.
concerned.
Yeah, he comes close.
I don't know. I just like that place. I've been going there for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when I lived in PV, I used to order it from there all the time.
Yeah. That whole city, you know, the whole entertainment district has grown up around that little place.
Right?
Concrete Blonde and all those places. Yeah.
It's always been there.
Yeah, there it is. I love that place.
Yeah, Joe's Pizza is a good spot. Yeah, like you said, you can't live up to your memory because you'll try things and you'll go like, this ain't the way I remember it, you know. Prince Street Pizza.
All right, go check it out.
I think he's on store number, maybe go to their website. This guy's rocking and rolling, God bless him, you know. But this guy had the idea, he's seen the opportunity, whoever bought it, you got to hand it to the guy. The guy's smart.
Yeah.
He's making a mint, you know. That should have been Raffie's. What happened was Raffie passes away. They sold the building. They sold the business. And, you know, Raffie didn't have any kids. You know, he had a nephew. His nephew, Anthony, I think he probably took care of. He had his sister. He renovated that apartment down in the building. So his sister used to live there in the building. And his nephew, Anthony, used to be the chef, the cook. Nobody called anybody chefs back then. You were just a good cook.
Right, yeah.
This guy, he could put out dishes like, you know, just putting out good food, you know. And he always took care of his family. But they never had any kids of his own, never got married or nothing. So I guess when he passed away, everything passed away with him.
Bummer.
I think his sister wound up with everything. And she sold everything off. That's what, you know, that's what's a shame is like, you know, you'll work all your life, right? And say, I'm going to leave it to my kids, you know? You never know what's going to happen. The kids might not talk to you. You might not want to leave it to your kids. Your kids don't appreciate it, whatever the case is, you know? How everything just, you know, you can't take it with you, you know? The pizza is here?
I'd like to take a little break and then we'll do...
Yeah, you'll bring the pie here and eat it.